The great chalk war Mr. Thompson was known as the funniest teacher in the school, but also the one you shouldn't mess with. His favourite student, Jake, was just as mischievous, and the two had an unspoken rivalry where pranks were the main weapon. One Monday morning, Jake arrived early and replaced all the chalk with cheese sticks. When Mr. Thompson began writing on the board, the chalk smeared yellow, and the smell of cheddar filled the room. The class burst into laughter. The teacher didn't take long to strike back. The next day, before Jake arrived, Mr. Thompson hid a small speaker inside Jake's desk that played a loud meow every time the lid was lifted. The first time it happened, Jake jumped so high he almost hit the ceiling, and the class collapsed in hysterics. From that day on, a full-blown chalk war began. Googly eyes appeared on every object in the classroom. Mr. Thompson's chair was swapped for an inflatable pool float. Jake's locker was filled with balloons, and even the school's intercom once played silly sound effects during math lessons. As the school year came to an end, everyone wondered who would land the final blow. On the morning before graduation, the class found a huge box tied to the chalkboard with a note that read, "Do not open until recess." At recess, Mr. Thompson and Jake opened it together, and out spilled over 100 tiny rubber ducks, followed by a card that said, "Thanks for the funniest year ever." From the entire class, they looked at each other, laughed, and realized their prank war had brought the entire class closer together. They declared a truce, which lasted exactly 5 minutes before Jake replaced all of Mr. Thompson's markers with soap sticks. And so, the great chalk war never truly ended. It just moved on to the next chapter. The legendary teacher-student prank-off. Mrs. Davis was the strictest math teacher in school, but also the quickest to laugh when a good prank came her way. Tommy, a clever and cheeky student in her class, loved nothing more than trying to outwit her with playful tricks. One day, Tommy carefully swapped Mrs. Davis's calculator batteries with candies shaped like batteries. When she tried to start her lesson, the calculator refused to turn on, leaving her pretending to be confused while the class giggled. Mrs. Davis decided to get her revenge the next day. Before class, she placed a fake out-of-order sign on Tommy's chair. When he went to sit down, he hesitated and looked around suspiciously, which made everyone burst out laughing. For weeks, their prank war escalated. Tommy put blue dots under the teacher's stapler. Mrs. Davis replaced his water bottle with a bottle of lemonade. And once Tommy covered the classroom door with sticky notes so Mrs. Davis had to peel them all off to enter. As the school year ended, the entire class was eager for the grand finale. On the last day, Mrs. Davis handed Tommy a neatly wrapped box during the lesson. Inside, he found a math workbook, but as he opened it, hundreds of colourful confetti pieces exploded out, filling the air. "Thanks for keeping me on my toes all year," Mrs. Davis said with a smile. "You definitely make math more fun." Tommy grinned back. "Same to you, Mrs. D. I guess some wars really are worth having." The ultimate classroom prank showdown. Mrs. Wilson was the no-nonsense history teacher everyone respected and feared a little, but deep down, she had a wicked sense of humour, especially when it came to her most mischievous student, Max. Max was famous for his clever pranks, and Mrs. Wilson never missed a chance to get back at him. One chilly autumn morning, Max came in early and replaced Mrs. Wilson's stack of handouts with the same number of blank papers, except on each page, he had glued a tiny, harmless spider. When Mrs. Wilson picked up the first sheet, the tiny spider waved its legs and Mrs. Wilson let out a surprised yelp that echoed through the room, sparking laughter from all the students. The next day, Mrs. Wilson's revenge was legendary. She rigged Max's chair with a whoopee cushion. As Max sat down with full confidence, a loud, unmistakable noise filled the room. Max blushed, but the whole class roared with laughter. The prank war continued with increasing creativity. Max swapped Mrs. Wilson's history timeline posters for funny pop culture memes, and Mrs. Wilson slipped a rubber snake into Max's backpack, causing a hilarious freakout. As winter approached, the classroom was filled with harmless surprises. There were fake notes, invisible ink messages, and even a moment when the school PA crackled to life with Mrs. Wilson's voice pretending to be a secret agent spying on pranks. Finally, the climax came on the last day before winter break. Mrs. Wilson found a mysterious box on her desk with a note. "Open me only after class." At the end of the lesson, she carefully opened it and confetti exploded everywhere, accompanied by a video message from Max saying, "Thanks for being the best sport all semester. Ready for round 2 after the break." Mrs. Wilson laughed and shook her head. "You're on, Max. But watch out, I know your tricks now." And so, their prank war became a legendary story in the school, reminding everyone that even history class could be full of laughs.